A man with the code name Ostroga stood on a hill in what is now southern Poland, watching a caravan of Nazi vehicles approach his village, snaking up the roads below. His men were hidden in the woods, ready to shoot when he gave the signal. 73 years later, his daughter, granddaughter, and great-granddaughter drove up that same road in a station wagon we rented at the Warsaw Airport. The road was barely wide enough for one car, the woods darker with each hairpin turn. My mom was clutching her rosary beads inside her giant purse. My parents escaped from communist Poland in the 1970s in search of a better life, and they found it in Fargo, North Dakota. Growing up, I always thought my family's story was an American story. My parents spoke Polish at home, and my mom cooked Polish food, but Poland was far away, black and white, a place I was glad to not live. My parents didn't talk about it much, or maybe I just didn't ask. I was 37 when my mom told me her parents were in the resistance during World War II. My grandfather was a military officer, a spy, and a leader in the Armia Krajowa, the Polish Home Army. My grandmother was a teacher and school administrator who secretly taught children during the Nazi occupation. My mom handed me a stack of brittle yellow paper, her parents' memoirs from the war. I spent the next year translating them into English. Translating those documents was like a conversation that I never got to have with my grandparents when they were alive. Long before my family's American story, we had Polish stories, and they were good. Close calls and coincidences, double agents and mistaken identities, betrayals and tragedies, arrests and escapes. Whenever they mentioned a place, I would Google it to see if it was still there. The Church of St. Wojciech in Krakow, where my grandfather had a fateful meeting with his commander. The Cistercian monastery that gave 2 tons of grain to the resistance. Grodzisko Hill, where the Armia Krajowa ambushed Nazi motorcades. And that's how I found myself, along with my mom and my daughter, at the top of that hill, dispatched by a ghost, searching for a stone. The GPS lost signal. We were ready to give up. I pulled over at a farm and tried to turn the station wagon around under the glare of a furious rooster. And that's when I saw it. A monument to the Armia Krajowa, marking the spot where my grandfather and his men fought. My mom was crying. She clutched a photo of her father along with her rosary. "I asked him to show you the way," she said. I don't remember what my grandfather was like. I was 5 when he passed away. But thanks to the stories he wrote down, stories that were shared with me, I knew him, and I felt his presence that day at the top of that hill.